If you are over 50 and you still pour the same glass of milk every morning without thinking twice, today's message may be more important than you realize. For years, many of us were told that milk means strength, strong bones, better aging, better nutrition, a healthy start to the day. And for a long time, that simple belief sounded harmless. But once kidney function begins to slow down, even a habit that looks healthy on the surface can become something worth rethinking. Now, let me be very clear from the beginning. Milk itself is not the enemy. The real issue is whether the kind of milk you drink every day is the right match for your body, especially if your kidneys are no longer as strong as they used to be. If your doctor has ever mentioned high creatinine, chronic kidney disease, reduced kidney function, swelling in the feet, frequent urination at night, tiredness that lingers, or blood pressure that is getting harder to control, then this is not a small detail anymore. What you drink each day matters. In fact, it may matter more than many people think. Regular cow's milk can be rich in phosphorus, potassium, and animal protein. For a younger person with healthy kidneys, that may not create an immediate problem. But for many older adults, kidney filtering function naturally declines with age. And when that happens, a daily glass of the wrong milk can quietly place extra pressure on the kidneys over time. That is what makes this topic so important. Kidney strain often builds silently. There may be no sharp pain, no dramatic warning, and no obvious sign that something is wrong. You may feel mostly normal. Then one day your blood work comes back and your creatinine is higher than before. Your eGFR has dropped. Your doctor starts telling you to watch phosphorus, watch potassium, cut back on sodium, be careful with protein. And suddenly you begin to wonder whether some of your everyday habits have been making things harder for your kidneys all along. The good news is that in many cases, you do not have to give up milk completely. You may simply need to choose more wisely. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 3 milks that may be gentler choices for older adults with kidney concerns. These are not miracle drinks. They do not cure kidney disease. They do not lower creatinine overnight. But if they help reduce the daily mineral and protein burden on the kidneys, they may become one small, practical step in a larger kidney-friendly routine. And that matters, because when it comes to kidney health, small daily habits add up. One choice does not seem like much in a single morning, but repeated every day for months or years, and it becomes part of the story your lab results eventually tell. Before we get into the list, I want to say something that is absolutely essential. No milk is perfect for every person. Kidney disease is not the same in everyone. Some people need to watch potassium more closely. Others need to watch phosphorus. Some need to limit protein. Others, especially people on dialysis, may need more protein, not less. So please take this video as practical education, not personal medical advice. If you have chronic kidney disease, diabetes, heart failure, uncontrolled blood pressure, or if you are on dialysis, always review diet changes with your doctor or a renal dietitian. With that said, if you are watching your creatinine, your eGFR, your potassium, your phosphorus, your swelling, or your blood pressure, then choosing the right milk is not a trivial decision. It is one of those quiet daily choices that can either work with your kidneys or ask more of them than they can comfortably give. So let's begin. Number 3. Unsweetened cashew milk. When many people first hear this, they hesitate. Cashews? Nut milk? Is that really appropriate for someone with kidney concerns? It is a fair question, and the answer depends less on the name on the front of the carton and more on the nutrition facts and ingredient list on the back. For kidney health, what matters most is not the marketing, it is the numbers. How much phosphorus is in it? How much potassium? How much sodium? How much protein? Does it contain phosphate additives? Is it sweetened? These are the details that matter. Compared with regular cow's milk, unsweetened cashew milk is often lower in phosphorus. That can be helpful because phosphorus is one of the minerals that tends to become more difficult to manage as kidney function declines. Healthy kidneys usually help keep phosphorus in balance, but when the kidneys are weakened, extra phosphorus can build up in the blood. Why is that a problem? Because high phosphorus does not just affect the kidneys. Over time, it can disturb the body's mineral balance, pull calcium out of the bones, and contribute to blood vessel calcification. In simple words, too much phosphorus can create trouble for the bones, the heart, and the blood vessels, not just the kidneys. That is one reason many kidney specialists tell patients to pay closer attention to dairy, processed foods, dark sodas, and packaged items with phosphate additives. Unsweetened cashew milk can be a lighter option in that respect. And because it is plant-based, the naturally occurring phosphorus in it may be less absorbable than the phosphorus found in animal dairy or artificial food additives. Next comes potassium. Potassium is an important mineral. The body needs it. But for people with reduced kidney function, too much potassium can become dangerous. When the kidneys cannot remove extra potassium efficiently, blood levels can rise. Sometimes that causes weakness or fatigue. In more serious cases, it can affect the heartbeat. Regular cow's milk can contain a meaningful amount of potassium. Unsweetened cashew milk is often lower, which may make it easier to fit into a kidney-conscious eating pattern for some people. Then there is sodium. Sodium is not just about the salt shaker. It is also about packaged foods, canned foods, sauces, restaurant meals, and beverages. High sodium intake can increase fluid retention, worsen swelling, and push blood pressure higher. And high blood pressure is one of the major forces that can damage kidney function over time. For an older adult with swollen ankles, tight shoes by evening, puffy feet, or blood pressure that seems difficult to stabilize, reducing sodium wherever possible can be a very meaningful step. Many unsweetened cashew milks are relatively low in sodium, especially the simpler varieties. That may make them a gentler choice compared with beverages that carry more mineral burden. Cashew milk is also usually lower in protein than cow's milk. For some people with chronic kidney disease who are not on dialysis and who have been advised to moderate protein intake, that can be useful. When the body breaks down protein, it produces waste that the kidneys must filter. If your doctor has told you to be mindful of protein, using a lower protein milk may help you avoid spending part of your daily protein budget on a beverage. But now we come to the most important warning. Not every carton of cashew milk is kidney-friendly. This is where many people get fooled. The front of the carton says things like plant-based, heart-healthy, calcium-rich, vitamin-fortified, no cholesterol, or dairy-free. It looks safe, it looks modern, it looks healthy. But what matters is what was added during processing. Many brands fortify their products with ingredients such as calcium phosphate, tricalcium phosphate, dipotassium phosphate, or similar additives. For someone with healthy kidneys, this may not seem alarming, but for someone with kidney disease, phosphate additives can be absorbed very efficiently by the body, and that can make phosphorus control more difficult. So here is the simple rule. Do not trust the front of the carton. Turn it around and read the ingredient list. If the ingredient list is short, simple, and free of phosphate additives, that is usually a better sign. If the label is packed with added minerals, sweeteners, gums, and chemical-sounding extras, pause before putting it in your cart. And remember, even when a milk is a better option, that does not mean unlimited amounts are helpful. More is not always better. For many older adults, one moderate serving may be plenty. If your lab numbers are already abnormal, then portion size matters just as much as product choice. So unsweetened cashew milk earns a place on this list because it is often lower in phosphorus, lower in potassium, lower in protein, and sometimes lower in sodium than regular cow's milk. but only if you choose the right kind. Now let's move to number 2, and this one surprises many people. Number 2, unsweetened rice milk. Rice milk is not always the first drink people think of when they want a dairy alternative. Usually the conversation starts with almond milk, soy milk, or oat milk. But when kidney concerns enter the picture, unsweetened rice milk deserves more attention than it often gets. Why? Because it is often one of the lighter choices when it comes to mineral load. For people with kidney disease, there are 3 big numbers that often matter in everyday eating: phosphorus, potassium, and sodium. You can think of them as the silent numbers. They do not always announce themselves through symptoms right away, but if they stay high for too long, they can quietly make kidney management more difficult. When the kidneys are healthy, they act like a careful gatekeeper, balancing minerals and filtering waste. But as kidney function declines, that gatekeeper may become less efficient. When too many difficult-to-manage minerals keep coming in, the kidneys have to work harder to maintain balance. Unsweetened rice milk is often lower in phosphorus than cow's milk. That can be meaningful for someone who has been told to watch phosphorus intake or whose lab work has started to trend in the wrong direction. High phosphorus is not just a lab concern. Over time, it can affect bone strength and the health of blood vessels. And for older adults, that matters a great deal. Kidney health is never only about the kidneys. It is also about the bones, the heart, the arteries, the blood pressure, the energy level, and the risk of frailty. Many older adults are already trying to protect themselves from falls, fractures, and weakness. So if one daily beverage choice can reduce phosphorus exposure, that may be a helpful adjustment. Rice milk is also often lower in potassium than cow's milk. Again, that does not mean it is appropriate for everyone, but it may offer an easier fit for people who need to be cautious about potassium. Think of it this way. If a large glass of cow's milk is like handing your kidneys a bigger bill to pay, rice milk may be more like handing them a smaller one. The kidneys still have work to do, but perhaps not as much. This is especially relevant because potassium problems can be deceptive. Many people do not feel high potassium right away. Sometimes the only clue is a lab result, and by the time symptoms become obvious, the situation may already need urgent attention. That is why people with kidney disease are often told to be thoughtful not just about food, but also about drinks. It is easy to focus on bananas or potatoes and forget that beverages can also contribute to the daily mineral load. Sodium is another reason rice milk can be worth considering. Unsweetened rice milk is often fairly low in sodium if you choose a simple variety. That may help support better blood pressure control and reduce the tendency toward fluid retention. If you have ever looked down at the end of the day and noticed swollen ankles, deep sock marks, heavy legs, or a puffy face in the morning, then you already know that fluid balance is not a minor issue. Reducing sodium a little at a time through everyday choices can help relieve some of that burden. Rice milk is also typically low in protein. That may be a plus for some people with early or moderate kidney disease who have been advised to avoid excessive protein. Since protein breakdown creates waste products such as urea, a lower protein beverage may reduce some of the filtering work the kidneys need to do. Imagine an old coffee filter that is already served for years. It still works, but it no longer handles overload as easily as it once did. If you keep pouring in too much, it becomes strained. That is one simple way to think about kidney workload. But rice milk also comes with a few cautions. First, many store-bought versions contain added sugar. And that matters because blood sugar control is critical for kidney health. Diabetes remains one of the leading causes of kidney disease. So if you choose rice milk, unsweetened should be your first choice. Second, some rice milks are heavily fortified. Once again, a product may look healthy because the label boasts added calcium, vitamins, or extra nutrition. But for kidney concerns, those added minerals are not always helpful if they come in the form of phosphate additives. So the same rule applies here. Read the fine print. If you see ingredients like calcium phosphate, tricalcium phosphate, or dipotassium phosphate, do not ignore them. Those words matter. The small print on the back of the carton often tells you more truth than the attractive promises on the front. So, unsweetened rice milk earns the number 2 spot because it is often low in phosphorus, low in potassium, low in sodium, and low in protein. For many older adults with kidney concerns, that combination makes it worth considering. And now we come to number 1. Number 1. Unsweetened flax milk. Cashew milk and rice milk may help because they often reduce the mineral and protein burden on the kidneys. Flax milk can do that too, but it brings one more possible advantage to the table. It may support overall cardiovascular and inflammatory balance in a way that is especially relevant for older adults. Flax milk is typically made from flaxseed oil or flax components and often contains alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid from plant sources. Omega-3 fats are often discussed in relation to heart health, inflammation, and blood vessel support. Now let's be careful here. This does not mean flax milk treats kidney disease. It does not. It is not medicine. It is not a cure. But because kidney health is closely tied to blood vessel health and inflammation, a beverage that is both low in kidney-stressing minerals and supportive of overall cardiovascular wellness may be a thoughtful choice for some people. Many older adults do not lose kidney function from one dramatic event. Sometimes it is a long, quiet process shaped by years of high blood pressure, diabetes, vascular strain, dehydration, medications, or chronic inflammation. It happens slowly. So slowly that people often do not notice until lab values begin to drift. That is why I like to say the kidneys often do not fail loudly. They struggle quietly first. Unsweetened flax milk is often very low in phosphorus, as long as it has not been fortified with phosphate additives. That may make it easier for people who need to keep phosphorus under control. It is also often very low in potassium, depending on the brand. For people whose doctors have asked them to monitor potassium more carefully, that can be a major advantage. Sodium is usually low as well if you choose a simple unsweetened product. That lines up nicely with one of the biggest goals in kidney care: reduce unnecessary pressure on blood pressure and fluid balance. Flax milk is often very low in protein, too. Again, that is not universally beneficial for everyone. People on dialysis often need more protein, not less, because treatment can increase protein needs. So if you are on dialysis, do not assume low-protein choices are automatically better for you. That decision must be guided by your care team. But for many people who are not on dialysis and who are trying to reduce kidney workload before more advanced disease develops, a lower protein milk may be useful. But once again, we need the warning label moment. Not every flax milk is automatically kidney-friendly. Some brands add tricalcium phosphate or other phosphate-containing ingredients to boost calcium and improve the nutrition label. That may look impressive to a shopper who is thinking only about bones. But if kidney function is compromised, that same added phosphate may make the drink less suitable. So remember the simplest rule in this entire video: no added sugar when possible, and no phosphate additives if you can avoid them. The shorter and simpler the ingredient list, the better. If you pick up a carton and the label reads like a chemistry worksheet, that is your cue to slow down. Kidney-friendly eating does not have to be fancy. In many cases, simple is smarter. So why does unsweetened flax milk take the number 1 spot? Because it is often low in phosphorus, low in potassium, low in sodium, low in protein, and it may offer plant-based omega-3 support that fits well with heart and blood vessel health. Now let's pause and bring the big picture together. The 3 milks on today's list are not here because they are trendy. They are here because they may reduce the everyday burden that some beverages place on aging kidneys. Number 3. Unsweetened cashew milk. Often lower in phosphorus, lower in potassium, lower in protein, and sometimes a better fat profile than whole dairy. Number 2. Unsweetened rice milk. Simple, mild, and often very light in phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and protein. Number 1. Unsweetened flax milk. Usually light on kidney-stressing minerals and protein, with the added appeal of plant-based omega-3 support. But the most important message is not just the names of these 3 milks. The most important message is this. The right milk depends on the ingredients, the portion, your lab values, and your medical condition. You cannot judge a carton by the front label. Plant-based does not always mean kidney-friendly. Calcium-rich does not always mean safe. Low-fat does not always mean better. The words that matter most may be the ones written in the smallest print. So get into the habit of doing one simple thing every time you shop. Pick up the carton, turn it around, read the ingredient list, then look at the nutrition facts. Check the phosphorus-related ingredients, the potassium if listed, the sodium, the sugar, and the protein. That small habit can protect you from making the same mistake over and over again without realizing it. And now, before we close, I want to give you a simple 7-day starting plan. Nothing extreme, nothing confusing. Just a calm, realistic way to begin paying more attention to your kidneys. Tomorrow morning, do not pour your usual milk automatically. Pause. Read the carton first. If you see phosphate additives such as calcium phosphate, tricalcium phosphate, or dipotassium phosphate, think carefully before choosing it. Over the next 7 days, if your doctor has not placed you on a different plan, try using one of the milks we discussed today: unsweetened cashew milk, unsweetened rice milk, or unsweetened flax milk. Use a moderate amount. A reasonable serving is often enough. Do not assume that because a drink is better, more of it must be even better. At breakfast, keep things simple. Pair your milk choice with a meal that is lower in sodium and lower in added sugar. Try not to build breakfast around processed meats, salty packaged items, pastries, or heavy fast foods. Those foods may taste comforting, but they often add exactly the kind of sodium and sugar burden that older kidneys do not need. At lunch, take a quick look at your plate before you start eating. A portion of vegetables that fit your medical plan, a sensible starch, and a moderate amount of protein based on your doctor's guidance can go a long way. At dinner, try to make life easier for your kidneys instead of harder. Heavy, salty evening meals can increase thirst, worsen swelling, and make nighttime urination more frustrating. During these 7 days, do one more useful thing. Keep a simple daily note. You do not need a complicated journal. Just write down a few observations. Did your feet swell today? Did you feel unusually tired? Did you wake up many times to urinate? Did your blood pressure seem higher? Did you feel thirstier than usual? If you have diabetes, did your blood sugar seem harder to control? These notes can help you connect your daily habits with how your body actually feels. Kidney care is not about guessing. It is about observing patterns, making careful adjustments, and working together with your healthcare team. And I want to repeat something very important. This video is not a substitute for medical care. If you have chronic kidney disease, diabetes, uncontrolled blood pressure, heart failure, or if your doctor has specifically told you to track creatinine, eGFR, potassium, phosphorus, or fluid intake, please talk with your doctor or a renal dietitian before making major dietary changes. A food or beverage that works well for one person may not fit another person's lab results, medication plan, or stage of kidney disease. Wisdom does not mean following every health tip blindly. Wisdom means learning how to ask better questions about your own body. And maybe that is the most hopeful part of this entire conversation. Getting older does not mean giving up. It means becoming more thoughtful and more intentional. Your body has carried you through decades of life. It deserves gentler care now. Sometimes that care begins with something surprisingly small: a different milk in the morning, a label read more carefully, a little less salt at dinner, and one small choice that puts less pressure on your kidneys than yesterday did. So if your creatinine is rising, if your kidneys are being monitored, if your blood pressure is stubborn, if your feet swell, or if your nights are broken by repeated trips to the bathroom, do not ignore what you drink every day. You do not need to change everything overnight. You just need to start with one better choice than yesterday. If this video helped you, save this list so you can remember it the next time you are standing in the grocery store aisle. Number 3. Unsweetened cashew milk. Number 2. Unsweetened rice milk. Number 1. Unsweetened flax milk. And above all, remember the rule that ties the whole video together. Read the back of the carton, not just the front. If you have a parent, spouse, sibling, or older friend dealing with high creatinine, kidney concerns, diabetes, or blood pressure problems, share this message with them. Sometimes one useful reminder at the right time can help someone avoid a habit that has quietly been working against their health. And if you want more simple, practical, easy-to-follow nutrition guidance for older adults, stay connected here. Take a deep breath, be kind to your body, protect your kidneys one decision at a time. I wish you a peaceful, steady, and healthy day.